AATBirds Weekly Report is the Eagle news, notes, and analysis you need. All about the birds, all birds, all the time.
And welcome into a special edition of the AATBirds Gameplan. We're going to break down a little bit the Eagles-Broncos matchup, but we are joined by Eagles Hall of Famer Trey Thomas. Trey, thanks for joining us once again. You were on a while ago, actually. Last time you were on, I believe it was a preview back in 2020. So it's been some time. You and I have talked back and forth, but glad to have you back on.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
So I want to start off here. You being, offensive lineman and everything, the Eagles offensive line has struggled. And the first question that I have for you is because, how you see time and time again, like last year, they went all the way to February, went to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl, grinding type of season. How is it coming off of something like that? And as an offensive lineman, and some of the guys are banged up. Cam had a back thing and had some off-season surgery, and you had Landon with the knee thing and some bumps and bruises there. You went to how many straight NFC Championship games into, that late January type of push. How is it grueling to the body? And is that something where these guys, maybe some bumps and bruises are kind of hurting them a little bit early on in the season?
Yeah, I mean, bumps and bruises is going to affect you, but what do you mean that the offensive line is struggling?
Like, I think the thing about it is how the run game, essentially the run game's not going so well. Now, I don't know how it all comes into play, but it just seems like they're not getting the, type of explosiveness that you were seeing last year. And it just seems like the run game is getting a little bit like, and I know Lane's been in and out of some games and the backups having to come in, and that doesn't help you. But in terms of the run game going, what do you think, as seeing the games unfolding and kind of seeing some of the tape and stuff like that, what do you think is maybe what's hurting the offensive line a little bit to not get those type of offensive
I don't think it's
outputs?
necessarily an offensive line thing. I think what you're seeing is that defenses are coming in and playing 6, 7, 8 guys in the box, where you're playing 7 or 8 guys in the box. And I feel like sometimes we feel like, all right, we have to get Saquon a certain number of carries, even when you're trying to run him into situations that just aren't going to work. I don't care if you have all 5 of those guys healthy, you're running them into a play with an 8-man box. It's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? So I think there are times that we're running the ball when we should be passing it, and there are times when we're passing it when we should be running the ball, So to me, I don't think it's an offensive line issue. I think that is sometimes we're running the ball into some situations where you got 7, 8 guys in the box, and it doesn't matter if you have all healthy, everybody out there, the play isn't going to work because you got too many guys and not enough blockers.
Now, Trey, what I tend to see, and I'm not as experienced at looking at the film as you are, obviously. When I'm looking at it, I'm not seeing the same creativity that we were seeing last year. I'm not seeing guys like Cam Jurgens, like Dickerson getting to the second level like we used to. I feel like there's less getting those guys in space and leveraging their athleticism than we've seen in the past. Do you think that? Are you seeing that? And do you think, if so, do you think it's because they're recovering from the back injuries, both of them?
Well, yeah, you're not seeing a lot of the pulling Cam Jurgens out there where you got him running some of those plays that you would see Kelsey do, where we're running those tosses where you got the center pulling. Well, you don't have to because this is an inside zone run team. Everything you have most success with this offense when you can push right up the middle. And for us to be able to do that, I need to be able to spread everybody out. I need to get everybody to play a 4 down, 2 linebackers, get me a traditional 6-man front, and then we can go ahead and get some of those combination blocks and get some of that push up the middle. But we can't do that if they're playing 6, 7, well, not even 6, playing 7 to 8 guys in the box, you're not going to get it to run. Let's go back. I feel like, you go back and you say, all right, yeah, I looked at this film and you had 6 3-and-outs in this game. You know why you had those 3-and-outs? You had one series where you tried to run the ball 3 times. You had the one play where Saquon went and he cut back right and he started jumping up and down thinking that he almost broke it. Well, that was 8 guys in the box there. You had 8 guys in the box on that play, and they tried to run it to the front side. He ended up cutting back, and he made a big play. Well, then the next play, you come right back in that same formation, and you try to run it left, and you had the running back motion to the left, which made the linebackers shift to the left, and of course, they killed the play right out the gate. So I think that there are times where, okay, if they're loading the box like that, throw them out of it. You have to use your receivers to throw them out of that because that's the way it started working. And I think that the offensive coordinator said it's best when everybody is touching the ball and you're not trying to force the issue to either AJ or Saquon.
And I think too, Trey, like, the way you're talking about with the way the box is being stacked up and loaded, like it doesn't help when you're playing a ton of 12 and 13 personnel and you're playing with guys.
Exactly.
Like, you have Calcaterra and Granson. Let's be honest, they're not very good at blocking. And when they're missing major blocks, how is it as a former offensive lineman, when you're up against a tight end and they absolutely blow a block, isn't it hard for you to be able to try to do what you need to do too? Because you're expecting hat on the hat. And if they're completely missing it, the play's getting blown up. And then all of a sudden you guys are now at a 2-3 yard loss, potentially, more than that, depending on how bad it could be.
Yeah, and then what the defense was showing, a lot of times they put us in situations where the tight end had to block man, and you had to get combination blocks between tackle and guard on the inside to work up, but and I thought that their defensive ends did a really good job at times where they took away the edge and forced the running back inside because they knew they had numbers. So I felt like there were times I think that we can't keep going 12 and 13 personnel because defenses are going to load the box. If we go a little bit more 11 personnel, we'll get a traditional 6-man front. And then if they do load the box, then you're in a better situation to pass the ball and pass them out of it to get that box lightened up so that we can get back to doing what we're doing, what we're good at.
Doesn't help that, Goddard's missing a lot of time in these games. He's been dinged up. But, I mean, to your point, like the Calcaterras, the Gransons, I think Latu has had some better blocking than the other two, but they're setting these guys on wham blocks and they're just getting blown up or late. Calcaterra was late into motion last week, wound up blowing up the play. That's the play that you were talking about where Saquon cut it up backfield. Now, Jordan Mailata made an interesting comment this week about how he thinks part of the struggles were because of the length of time they're spending in the huddle.
Yes.
I don't know if you heard that comment. Now,
yes.
Can you take us through that as an offensive lineman? How much time do you think you need to properly read a defense to set those protections and really be effective and check out of those plays if necessary?
Well, I don't know, because I mean, if you come up there and you see, okay, I think you should do some check with me plays where you just say, okay, you know what, we're going to have whatever the formation is. And you have a pass and a run that's called out of it that could possibly happen. And you walk up to the line of scrimmage, you see that, hey, man, we got a 6-man box. Hey, check whatever that run play is out of that formation. Let's run it into that. If we come up and they have too many in the box, then all right, check with me. It's whatever that pass is, and we throw them out of it. So I think you start doing a little bit more of that. That will help. But a lot of times it looks to me that whatever play is called, there are no other options to it. And it's like, look, this ball is going here, and we're going to force it to AJ no matter what. And because you go back and you look at one of those series that I think there were 3 passes that went to AJ. That was a 3 and out. And some of those passes, it's like, okay, you know what? The box was like, run it. Yeah. And because you had a 6-man box, but because, you don't want AJ pissed off because ain't no telling what he's going to tweet out there. We want to make sure we keep everybody, feeling good. We don't want his lip hanging on the ground. So we're going to force the ball out there to him and it's incomplete, and then you throw another pass to him in the slot. It's incomplete. We could have ran the ball again. And then you go out there and the third play that we ran threw to him. Saquon totally blew the blitz that came off the right side. So when you start having situations like that, man, it starts, guys get a little frustrated.
It does seem a little, I don't want to say undisciplined, but there have been a lot of missed assignments. I saw a couple with Steen last week that were a little concerning. We have the Grant Calcaterra going late into motion and blowing up that play effectively. There's been a couple times where it seems a little, and the penalties. You have a lot of these pre-snap penalties that are killing drives. Take us through that. Do you think that's something that can be addressed quickly?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I look at these first 3-4 games. This is their preseason, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't play any preseason games. Everything was practice. So I know as a fan base, we expect for this team to come out there and make no mistakes and just go out there and just play this immaculate football that we should all just look in and be at all else. But you think back at the beginning of the season, Saquon wasn't breaking big runs right out the gate. It took him a little bit more time. And I think that the more we start throwing defenses out of it, I, for one, am an offensive lineman that likes to pass first, run second. I like to throw and use these receivers because Dallas Goedert can be a huge weapon for us. Calcaterra showed that he can be a huge weapon catching some balls out of there. And when you can get them involved in the game, and then it makes it a lot easier for you to get it to AJ and get it to Slim. And then once we start operating like that, we get that light box, and then we can run the ball down their throats. And to me, that's when we're at our best, when we can operate like that.
Yeah, and the way you looked at it last week, like, I know the special teams touchdown really helped, really jumpstart that game and getting that quick 7-0. But they were able to move the ball. They were passing the ball. They were able to do that. And then it just seemed like in the second half, it was like deja vu of the first half against the Rams. Like nothing was going well. It seemed like a lot of things became everything was premeditated and everyone knew kind of what was going on. And that's not good if you're an offense trying to do something and yet defense kind of have you pinned down. Like AJ's routes, there was 2 defenders there. They knew what was coming. And it's just like when you do that kind of stuff, it's not going to help you because one, either you're going to be 3 and out, like you were mentioning, all the 3 and outs, and or you're going to have a turnover. Yeah. And especially in that type of game where basically the Bucs are coming back, those big splash plays that they had, were really making them get in the game even quicker because there was no time coming off the clock when them scoring those 70+ yard touchdowns. So I just think the offense, especially this week, because it's not going to be easy going up against the Broncos, who have one of the, their pass rush and their rush percentage and what they do right now. I think Nick Bonino, I think he has 4.5 sacks. So they've got guys that could put pressure on you, and the offensive line is going to be up to task. But if the Eagles can, be able to get, and I think if they're going to be shadowing Surtain with Brown or whatever they want to do, hopefully that puts them in more man coverage situations because, when Jalen has man, it seems to go the Eagles' way because they can do so many different things there. And, we'll see with that. But the question I have for you here is looking at this Broncos team and the way that their defense, their defensive line have been playing and the pressure that they get, does it put an extra emphasis of maybe trying to spread out the defense to be able to run the ball if they have that kind of pass rush?
Absolutely. That's what I would do. I would go 11 personnel. I'm going to spread you out. You go 5 in the box. Somebody's open on the outside because I got the weapons out there. And then we just go 5 down. I like my 5 offensive linemen against your 5 defensive rushers. And then you got to bring an extra. And then Jalen has been doing a really good job of when he sees pressure to get rid of the ball. He has rarely do you get him. He hasn't, I don't know how many times he's been sacked off a blitz. Most of the time it's been because somebody got beat. But most of the time when the blitz comes, he's been getting rid of the ball. So I think that, even if they do come 5 down, I take my 5 against your 5 all day, even if Lane Johnson isn't playing. I think Fred Johnson has stepped in and has done an extremely good job at right tackle and held it down while Lane has been out.
Agreed. He was arguably the best pickup in the offseason. Yeah, and it's he's already showing returns in just 4 games. Now, what is that like coming off the bench in that situation?
It's hard because you're not. Of course, I think that I'm sure Coach Stoutland is staying in his ear, but the hardest one was last week because he hadn't taken any steps on the right side all summer. I'm sure he didn't. When he went to training camp, because that's not how Coach Stoutland does his offensive line. He likes to keep guys. Matt Pryor was your guy that was going to be on the right side. Fred Johnson was going to be your left. And that's just the way Coach Stoutland does his training. And so I think last week was the hardest one just because he had no idea that he was going to have to jump in and play right. So that shows you, for him to step in and do the job that he did last week just spoke volumes. And then this week, I think was a little bit better because I'm sure he took some reps just in case Lane didn't finish. And of course, Lane didn't finish. So, he was able to step in and he did a good job. Even Matt Pryor, when he bumped down in the guard, I think that he did well. But you have to even acknowledge Steen. Everybody saw the knee injury. He was hyperextending that knee. Yeah. When they showed it, it looked bad, but he fought and got back out there on the field, and I thought he did well. He gave up the one sack. But that was fresh off of that knee injury. Probably wasn't still trying to figure out how to move, but I felt like he played extremely well just coming back from that injury.
Yeah. So, shouldn't the offensive lineman be wearing knee braces, Trey? Isn't that something?
Yes, absolutely. Everybody should be wearing knee braces. I don't know why you don't wear knee braces. I know it's not sexy. I know it's not cute. It's not fashionable. But why would you not put on knee braces? And you're starting to see it now, even on the college level, because these kids are getting paid. So they're like, well, hey, man, if y'all don't want to wear knee braces, all right, then cool. You don't have to worry about it. But then the best ability is availability. And you sit out there and you keep getting hurt. It's always something that happens with your knees. So I tell my son, who's in his freshman year at Lehigh, man, even if y'all put them helmets on, put your knee braces on.
I told that to Matt after the game. I said, yes, Lehigh Mountain Hawk. I told that to Matt after the game when we were talking about Steen and stuff. I said they need to wear knee braces. That's what Trey Thomas always said. He said it on one of our shows. It's need the knee braces. Need the knee braces.
I don't know if they make a knee brace big enough for Dickerson's legs. They'd have to.
They make them there. Plus Don Joy, who Don Joy was. He was an offensive lineman. The guy that invented Don Joy, he was an offensive lineman for the Eagles back in the day.
No way.
Wow. Yeah. So he developed the knee braces or whatever that started the company. And so they make braces for us custom, but the thing is, Landon Dickerson, I think that he tore his knee wearing braces, so he's against them, so. But hey, I live in them.
Trey, so you do podcasts with Todd Hermans. You guys do a great job. What is that like doing something like you travel, you go to different wineries and just chop it up, talk some football, and drink some wine? How has that been doing? You've been doing it for how many? Couple years now?
This is our third year now. Yeah, okay. So it's been fun, man. It's always good to kick back and connect with one of your guys, man. With Todd, man, my brother, man. So it's awesome to have that time, because once you retire, one of the things that everybody misses is the locker room and that camaraderie. So it's always good to just hang out with my brother, man, and just go kick back, have a couple glasses of wine, and exploring some of the wineries that's in the tri-state area. Has been really awesome. We really enjoy that, and it's been fun. It's been a really good journey. And then this guy even got me into making wine now, so something that I enjoy doing, man. It's been fun.
And you said I could be a taste tester, which I appreciate.
I have to get you a couple bottles, man. I got bottles everywhere, man. I just fortified a wine the other day, so I just bottled that. I have a Chardonnay that I'm drinking right now that I've been aging, so I just took some of that to kind of get going. I just started 2 Chardonnays. I just started those, Tuesday? And then I got a Pinot Noir going right now. I got a Cab going in the other room, a Merlot that I'm aging right now. Nice. I got 2 other Chardonnays, and I bottled up a bunch of other stuff. I did a lot of fruit wines as the fruits were coming in the season. So I did a strawberry, blueberry, did a peach, I did a cherry. So yeah, man. So it's been fun.
Where can we find you? Where can we find all this, Trey?
My wines? No, my wines are just something that I just do. It's not
the podcast. Tell us where we can.
Between the Vines. Yeah. Between the Vines with Trey and Todd on YouTube. So it's a YouTube thing.
Awesome. Yeah. Definitely check that out. Right. So before we have you leave, I have one more thing we did with Todd when he was on in the off season. We're going to test you Your draft class. Can you name your
Okay.
other draft classmates? Todd only missed one. Now his draft class was huge. I think there was like 11 picks, 10 or 11 picks. Yours is only
Mhm.
8. But how many can
Oh,
you name?
that were ahead of me. But you know what? I
Well,
just
no.
talked to someone.
I mean your the Eagles draft class. Your
Oh,
rookie
that was in
draft
my
class.
Eagles draft
Your
class.
teammates.
Man. So you had Brandon Whiting. I know Trot came in with me.
Yep. Yep.
Um. Oh man. Who else was the other? Melvin Thomas was the
Yep.
other offensive lineman that came in with me. Let's
3
see.
more.
Who?
2
Hey,
corner,
we
safety,
had
and a DT.
We had Rod. No, not Rod. Who was? Oh man, I can't think of his name. He was a return man for us. Corner for us. I can't think of his name.
Allen Rossum.
Yeah, Alan Rossum. Yeah, Alan Rossum. And then who else came? Yeah, I don't know.
We caught you
Clarence
after
Who
Love
class.
you
and
said?
Chris
You said it.
Akins.
Who?
Clarence Love and Chris Akins.
Oh yeah, C Love. Yeah, I remember C Love. C Love was a wild dude. But when he went to Toledo, I think he went
Yep.
to Toledo. Yeah,
Yep.
and then and who else was the other one?
And then it was Chris Akins from Texas, DT, defensive tackle
Oh,
from
okay.
Texas.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember him. But yeah, man.
But yeah, you think about that draft class, and Allen Rossum, carved out a long career, and unfortunately not with the Eagles. He was with the Falcons, the Packers, did a couple, but he was a great returner. But if you look at that draft class, Brandon Whiten was a solid defensive lineman for the Eagles. He was actually traded. He was in the trade for Terrell Owens back in 2004. Of course, Ike was a special teamer for all those years. Trotter, we all know with Trotter, and then of course we had. It was a great draft class if you think about it.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Unfortunately, Ray Rhodes' last draft class, but Andy lucked into the talent of that draft class, and basically there's a lot of good draft classes from Ray Rhodes. I will say that if you look at '96 with Doc, but yeah, it's a great thing. I just wanted to test you on it. I did it with Todd. He was quick. He was a lot quicker than I thought. Some of the people on there, I didn't even think he'd remember. He knew everything. He's got a heck of a memory, that's for sure. But
that's awesome.
No, I want to thank you for coming on. We'll have to have you on again, but absolutely appreciate it. Maybe I'll see you at a Lehigh game.
Absolutely
coming soon. But
we'll be out there this weekend. They're taking on Yale.
Yeah, 5-0, number 8 in the country. So
yeah, man, we ride.
Yes, but thanks, Trey.
Playing?
Go ahead.
Is your son playing offensive line?
Yes, he's playing offensive line right now. He's playing guard. So we'll see how it goes.
All right,
yeah,
future Eagle. I love it.
Yeah.
But it was great, Jordan. Trey, you take care.
Thank you, guys. All right,
Thanks,
cheers.
Absolutely.
All right,
cheers.
All righty. So, when looking at this game, I think when you look at this defense, and I think a lot of it comes to looking at what the defensive line, and we talked about the Eagles offensive line and the struggles and some of the struggles they've had. But I think it's perfect when you look at this defense and them Eagles being able to spread them out and run the ball. I think that's super key when I'm looking at keys to the game. That's what I'm kind of focusing on because, I want to take advantage of the linebackers. Dre Greenlaw was put on IR. So they're down. They got Alex Singleton, which, we know.
Eagles legend, baby.
Yeah, he's okay. He's carved out a career for him.
He's a solid journeyman. I don't even know if you'd call him a journeyman, but he's a solid depth guy that can play starting snaps. I've always liked Singleton. He's a good downhill player, but he's not a coverage guru unless you're Nick Mullins. I don't know if you remember that pick 6 from him.
Yeah.
I agree. Listen, when you're looking at this team, the Broncos specifically, I mean, they are a top 5 defense. They were last year. They're carrying it over into this year.
They're a solid team. They're a very solid team,
especially on the trenches, right? And when you're looking at the matchup between our offensive line and their defensive line, you've got Nick Benito and you've got Cooper, who have the number 1 and number 2 fastest get off in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And, I've been watching clips of them against poor offensive linemen, especially the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals don't have a very good offensive line, but, you've got Mailata and a banged up Lane who are going to have to handle faster guys. So,
and they've got a solid, like Zach Allen's a solid defensive lineman. And of course, John Franklin Myers is pretty good. DJ Jones. What?
Was he Boston College? Zach Allen?
Yeah, he was from Arizona. And he signed a big deal with Denver. So he's a solid player. But like when you really look at their defense, you want to focus on those linebackers. Justin Sternad and Alex Singleton are your two inside backers. You want to take advantage of that. And you want to – like the big thing is if they're able to spread them out and be able to run the ball, you take the pressure off of being in third and long. You want to get yourself in third and manageable situations because you don't want to have these – they're being able at 3rd and 6, or 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, and having to drop back and having them pin their ears back and rush the passer. That's not really what you want to be doing with their defensive line or their edge.
And younger and smaller, faster guys like a Cooper and Benito, they're easier to run against, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're the kinds of teams and the kinds of guys where you can use their aggressiveness against them. I'd like to see some inside runs, right? Or even run it outside and let them run past the play. Lane does his little turnstile offensive club move that he's got, right? So I think there are ways that you can take advantage of their edges when you're not in 3rd and long. But I'd also like to see them do a little bit of like the screen game and keep them honest, right? Like Vance Joseph likes to get downhill, just like it seems like every other team that we played is rather blitz heavy, and they play pretty predominantly zone behind that, and it's been pretty impressive the way that they've been able to bracket receivers while also bringing the heat. So it'll be interesting to see how they potentially use the screen game with Saquon. I don't know that we've seen a running back screen this year. We've seen a lot of these. I've seen a lot of these swing passes, right? These like design swing passes and things like that. I could see that by using the edges aggressiveness against them, get them upfield, throw it behind them. It'll be interesting to see how they attack this, and hopefully Patullo does something to get this offense kickstarted in the beginning, and not let these young edges pin their ears back.
So you're looking at the injury report. Dallas didn't practice on Wednesday, limited practice today, back on the practice field. So that's at least a good sign there. Calcaterra had an illness, so he was the only one that didn't practice. But Nakobe Dean was activated or able to practice. His window was open. So they only have 52 men on the roster right now, with putting Charlie Hewlett and Obo Okoronkwo on IR. And of course they have Cal Adamitis is their new long snapper.
I was hoping you would pronounce that before I got to it. So I appreciate that.
So, and of course you have the practice squad shuffle. We're not even going to get into that, really, just because it's the same. It's like the guy's in and is out.
I will say I feel bad for APR. He was finally brought back. We thought he had a nice season, and then a cup of coffee and he's out of here.
Jacob Sykes, defensive tackle, another defensive tackle on the practice squad, and then defensive end KJ Henry, who was with the team last year. So
surprises me that he's back.
Jacob Sykes or KJ Henry?
KJ Henry. Sykes makes sense with Carter dealing with the shoulder injury.
Banged up,
but the KJ Henry move, I didn't see that coming, especially when you just had APR in the building.
Yeah, and the way I look at it is, if Azeez Ojulari is not on the active roster come game day, then there's really no reason to keep him on the team. The way that I look at it.
You got to make a trade at that point.
Yeah, at that point, something's going to have to give, because if you can't make, with all these injuries, Nolan's out, Obo's out.
Yeah.
Like what more needs to happen for him to even see the field? So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. My guess is he will be activated just for depth purposes. Whether he plays, I don't know, but I don't think going in with 3 edge rushers is a smart thing.
So who do they have right now? They have Uche, they have Jalix, and they have
I guess you could
Barrett.
count Patrick Johnson would be the 4th edge rusher, but you kind of want he plays special teams.
I'd rather see Ojulari get
I would.
at least see what you got with him.
Yeah, at this point, we'll see. But the thing is, too, like when you look at the Denver Broncos, they have a solid offensive line. They have some solid receivers. They have a good offense. Right now. And you really need to keep your eyes on Bo Nix, because if you let open lanes go, he's going to run and he's going to gash you. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting. I'm very intrigued. You and I have kind of talked about if Nakobe Dean is activated for game day and he's going to be playing, what they're going to do. It's going to be interesting. I'm pretty intrigued to see what they would do with the team and how they're going to deploy some of that. But
I'm relieved that Bond and Campbell were not on the
that's a good thing.
Injury report after last week spending time on there, and then after the game we had some vague concern about Campbell, but I think that was just we kind of speculated that it was cramping or just exhaustion. Yeah. But yeah, it'll be super interesting to see if he is activated. It sounds like he was cleared weeks ago. At least from his comments, he said he was cleared weeks ago.
I think he's going to be activated.
That's
why they haven't signed. Listen, the 52. Yeah. They have 52 guys on the roster. He's the 53rd guy. So
yeah. But like to your point, what do? Do they put him on special teams? Is he playing in sub packages? Is he it'll be really interesting to see how they split these snaps, because I don't think you can justify taking Campbell off the field. I just don't.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Unless they move one of these guys into some edge rotations like Bond and Campbell. Yeah. I don't see it.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. And listen, I'm also intrigued. Like Charlie Hewlett not being there, the new long snapper, Adamitis. Like you want to make sure that's all crisp when you're looking at that. Snapper to holder to place kicker. We'll have to see how that all goes into play. But it's going to be
Where did Hewlett come from? Was he the Browns or was he the
Browns?
Okay, Browns. So we're just taking all the AFC
AFC North
AFC North snappers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean that me, I'm a sucker for long snapping. It'll be interesting to watch for sure, and I hope it doesn't come back to bite us. Because Lovato is on the Chargers now, right?
Yeah, he's on the Chargers now.
He's on their active roster, not their practice squad.
I think he was activated to the active roster. Yeah, I think he was brought up practice squad one week and then he was activated. But I'm going to be interesting to see what this team does. With all the stuff coming out, it's just like nonsense.
I think it's all about nothing. It's all just hoopla. It's the media spinning this shit into something it's not. He's an all-world receiver that was frustrated that he's not involved in the game plan. Like, you want that. I want that as a fan. I want a player that, like AJ Brown, that wants the ball when it's 4th and 2. I want a guy who is going to be pissed that he didn't contribute as much as he wanted to. But like, he's not in the locker room going like, "Fuck you, Jalen." Like, he's not out there causing a scene. He's, by all accounts, he's been a tremendous teammate. You heard it. I'm sure you guys saw the clip about him with Quinyon Mitchell after the game saying like, "Hey, like, I'm proud of you." And like, he's a good player. He's a good teammate. He's a good captain.
I just think
but he's also what, like 27?
Yeah, 28.
Like, of course, like, he's throwing shit out there on Twitter. He's frustrated that he's not getting the ball, and I think that's valid. Did he go about it the wrong way? No. Is this the first time? No. Is it the last time? Probably not. But like, I think people are making it a bigger deal than it should be. Because he's a winner that wants the ball.
I just think he should know better that the media is going to run with it. We know what's going to happen. But
I don't think he
I guess
cares. I don't think anybody in that building cares that the media is saying anything.
it's just,
But I think part of it might be him doing that on purpose to say, look, now you see I'm pissed off, like get me the ball. And maybe who knows, maybe they design something for him and start actually
it's just they have
getting him
to
open.
they've got to not force it when he's super
But
covered.
Scheme him open.
Yeah,
Script some plays, scheme him open.
Listen,
Put
you
him in
and
motion,
you and I, we talk back and forth. Watching the game, it's like, what are we watching? Like, it's sometimes so hard. The second half was just like,
it just
what
doesn't
are they
make sense.
even doing? Like, and it just needs to change in terms of them needing to make the offense enjoyable. Like, come on, like this. Put some guys in motion. Do some other stuff. Like this whole bunch sets close to line of scrimmage with, it's just you're just loading everything up close. Like spread these guys out. 11 personnel.
But there is strategy to that, and I don't hate that as much as you do, because so like when you're bunched up like that, the defense has to be on point. And the Eagles are fortunately really good at this, and I'll knock on wood. But like when you're bunched like that, basically your defense has to communicate who has the 1, who has the 2, who has the 3, and who's taking it, how they're passing it off if they're in zone. Like that bunch formation does create, like you have to be on top of it or it's going to be a busted coverage within a second. So like I get it, and I don't hate it as much as you do. But like we do need more motion, we do need more creativity, and we do need more. Like we need to get our stars involved in the beginning of the game and get them hot.
Rhythm.
Yeah, get a rhythm.
Give them a rhythm. Start.
Thank you.
And I think I'm more like what bothers me more is the 12 and 13 personnel with Calcaterra and Granson as your 2 tight ends.
You don't have the personnel, so why are you running it? Bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
To me, it's just that's what frustrates me so much because you can just watch Calcaterra or Granson just not fully make a block or miss a block. And it's just so frustrating. If you play more 11 personnel, like Trey was even saying, like you're spreading that defense out. You're making those boxes 6-man boxes instead of 7-8-man boxes. And you're able to, you make one guy miss, you're up into the third level. You're 15, 16, 20 yards deep. On a huge run. Like I want to see more of that. I'd love to see more of that. So hopefully that starts coming more into play. Because when you really look at the stretch here, like Denver's going to be a tough test. We know that. Yeah. And then you have the Giants on Thursday night, and then you have the Vikings and the Giants, and then your bye. There's an opportunity here to rally off, a couple more handful of wins.
3 or 4 wins.
Especially if you win Sunday, you could essentially, keep the ball rolling here and keep the wins coming into your bye week. So it's definitely something that they're going to need to, keep themselves on point and everything. And, I expect them to have a good game this Sunday, but again, we'll see. Man. It's a super tough game.
Yeah. Might be the toughest so far on our schedule.
I would
when you take like the heat of Tampa out of it, when you take playing in a stadium like Arrowhead out of it, if you just look at the matchup itself, they match up really well with us.
Denver's a solid team, and
they're almost a mirror image of us.
Yeah,
at almost every position. But something that Trey said really stood out to me, and you just kind of brought this to my brain here. He said there was a portion of the Tampa game where they dictated how we ran our offense, how they dictated that we had to block one-on-one with a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
At no point with the talent on your offense should any defense be dictating anything to this offense. Our offense, and that was really telling to me, and something that's going to bother me for a while, because our offense should be putting the defense in a bad position. Yeah. We should be dictating how they move. To his point, we went into motion and then ran to the left. Like we motioned left, ran left. Like when you motion left, their linebackers shift left. Right? They slide to the strength of the formation. So like this is the type of shit that I'm talking about with Kevin Patullo, and like his inexperience is showing. And that's a good example. We should not the defense should never dictate what we're doing and how we're doing it and how we're blocking. We should put them in difficult positions. They should feel the heat when we go into bunch formation and have to call out their mirror match or whatever it is. They should be stressed out that we motioned left and ran right, right? Like these are the things that's what I really want to see. And it was really interesting to hear Trey say that. Because I don't know if he meant it like that, but I felt it, because that's kind of what we see on just from watching the game is that I feel like we are not dictating. We are not the aggressors on offense.
No, and listen, like you said, with the talent you have, it should be in no way that should be the case. You should be the ones dictating.
People.
Yeah. You know, going up and down the field with what the talent that you have, you should be able to, you know, essentially do whatever you want. Like,
and we've seen glimpses. I mean, we've seen like we're perfect in the red zone, so I know we can call. I know we can call an offense, but like there's no. And we talked about this after week 1. I haven't really seen much of an improvement, but like there's no sequencing.
No.
Right? There's no rhyme or reason to when he's calling a pass versus a run, and it's like we're running. There were a couple times last week where if you watch the film, you know, Shane Half put out a couple videos of us running into 9-man boxes. Like, I'm sorry, but and I don't know how much freedom Jalen has, but like if you see a 9-man box, like let's check out of that, bud.
Yeah,
you know, and I don't know. I really need to see. This is going to be a tough test because they're a really good defense, so maybe this isn't the week, but like Patullo's got to get his shit together, and he's got to do it fast.
Yeah, they need to figure something out.
27th ranked offense.
Yeah,
with 3
absolutely
with like
pitiful.
4. How many All Pros do we have on that team? I mean, and Pro Bowlers. I mean, almost the entire offense has been to a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, there's in no way should it be nowhere near that.
Yeah.
So
sorry, that's my rant.
It's all right. Well, this brings us to a fun segment we always like to do, and the Eureka Locks.
It's time for the Eureka Locks of the week. Who's your lock?
Ooh, I came prepared this time.
That's a good thing. Locks last week. Yeah.
We're not talking about them.
Yeah, well, we have to. So, unfortunately, we have to. But we'll make it quick. You had Penn State beating Oregon. No. And I had Kansas losing to Baltimore to go 1-4. Or 1-3. I don't know what the hell I said. Whatever. I had KC losing to Baltimore. That did not happen.
Yeah.
So we both got, of course, picking the Eagles, right? So that's at least a plus. But as we go to the Eureka Locks, I'll have Matt. You could start since you have come prepared.
Ooh, okay. My Eureka Lock of the week: Vandy beats Alabama.
Okay.
That goes out to Ryan Hamilton. If you're listening, that's for you, bud.
That's not a bad one. Vandy is ranked. They've been playing some good football.
Bama looks like poo-poo. So I think Vandy does it again.
Hey, Diego Pavia, right? Quarterback.
Right. Sure.
So looking at the slate, I was going to pick this game in terms of something, happening. I decided to go off of that and not go that route. I'm going to go.
Quarterbacks will play in the NFL for the first time against each other since maybe the 1960s. When's the last time 2 white cornerbacks played for teams against each other?
It's a good question.
Because even Seahorn was probably the only one in the NFL.
At that point in the mid to early 90s. Because I think he came in 94. Yeah, it's been a while. Both from Iowa, of course.
Yeah, of course. Sorry. Didn't mean to derail your...
of course. You know what? I'm going to go... I don't want to do this, but I thought, you know what? I'm going to make this jump and make this leap.
Oh,
I think the Jets beat the Cowboys.
Wow. All right. You should get 2 points if that happens.
Well, that'd be nice. I would need that. But, yeah, I just have a feeling there. This now brings us to our prediction to end the show. Prediction of the Eagles-Broncos matchup. I will start, since you went first, on the You Like a Locks. And I think it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be one of those games that come down to the end. It's just what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But I think with the way the Eagles, the type of team that they are built, I think the offense gets back on track in terms of feeding their playmakers, getting their playmakers involved. And I will pick the Eagles to come away victorious 27-21.
That is the exact score I was going to pick. But now I have to change it. All right. I don't have a great feeling about this game. I really don't. I'm not saying that I'm scared of the Broncos. I think they match up really well with us. I think it helps that we're at home and they're traveling to the east. We're in relatively good health. They are about as healthy as you can get for a team, at least for the players that aren't on IR. I think the Eagles win, but I think it's going to be like a 21-17 game.
Okay. It's a close game.
I don't see them winning any non-close games until maybe next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of ways, but yeah, listen, it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. But
I think this is the toughest team we're going to face. I think they're going to play our offense really well. I think they have good speed rushers. They have really good secondary. They play really good zone, which we do not play well against. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah. We'll see what they come out with, see what they game plan, see what goes on. So with that, thank everyone for tuning in. Make sure you're following all of the socials. They're at the bottom there. Make sure you're following along. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel.
Give Trey a listen.
Yeah, give Trey a listen.
Between the Vines, right? Him and Todd Harriman's. Check them out on YouTube as well. Thank you, Trey, for joining us today. That was awesome. Always
it was awesome.
To get a former Eagle on the pod.
Yeah, it's awesome to talk with him and have him on. But with that, as we always end it, a very happy and joyful Go
Birds.
This is Matt Ware. Hey, for all the Eagle content you need, go follow All About the Birds. They do a damn thing. Check them out.
Hey Eagles fans, I may be in Tampa, but I know where to find the best Eagles content out there. Check out my friends at All About the Birds.
Philadelphia, what's up? This your boy Freddie Mitchell, a.k.a. Fred X. It's all about the bird.
All birds all the time. All birds all the time.
All About the Birds provides you with weekly analysis, game recaps, informative interviews, and it's all birds all the time.